Hey guys, Bazzy back here, and in today's video, I wanted to continue the discussion around the EA NHL games, specifically today on the yearly release window. And just before we get into the video here today, I do want to state I don't think this is ever gonna change. I think, we're gonna continue getting these games year to year, every fall, right before the NHL season kicks off, we're gonna continue to get these games. But is that really the smart way to do things, especially with the NHL series in particular? And this is, kind of an idea that I've seen kicked around on the internet here for really even a couple of years now, and I think it's something that should be taken into consideration. Do we need a full-on, full-fledged NHL game each and every single year? And that answer is gonna vary depending on who you ask. And it's something you just look around the whole sports gaming industry as a whole. You look at MLB, you look at NBA, you look at NFL. All these games are released year to year. The difference between them and NHL is they have a lot bigger of a player base, they have a lot bigger of a budget, and they have, a lot more ability to get things done year to year. And personally, I get the feeling, at least recently, that maybe the year-to-year releases for NHL really isn't what we should be focused on. And I do have some ideas today to talk about on what, maybe a shift from this approach could look like. Because I do think there is multiple ways you could go about this, where you don't have to release a full-fledged game each and every single year, but you can still have something new for consumers to come back to. And by going down this approach, it allows you to get a lot more done on those quote-unquote off years where you can, really elevate the series, on a bi-yearly basis. We're still bringing something unique to the consumer year to year. So let's go and jump into at least some of the ideas that I have been thinking about recently. This is a very basic, kind of schedule of what the release windows could look like. So let's just say NHL 25 comes out, and let's just say there is no NHL 26. There will be, but just for this scenario, let's just have that play out as it is. So NHL 25 released this October, I believe it was, September, October, and there is not going to be a new game coming out this fall. So we've gone through this whole yearly window, expecting a new game. What happens in the fall? So it's going to be a total game reset. This goes from the online modes, your Hockey Ultimate Team, your World of Chell, whatever it may be, and as well as just the overall rosters in general, as you can't change ages of players. It'll give you everything totally up to date, just like you would be getting if NHL 26 was to release. This would be a totally free update for players that would bring a new feel to a very similar game. Again, we do always complain that these games more or less year to year are very similar, but this would just be, something like to a totally new, just aesthetical look to the game. New menus, do a huge bug fix overhaul for every single mode in the game, launch new rosters with all the players' correct ages for that season, as that's something that we can't currently do ourselves, as well as bring in a few minor features. The thing is here, year to year, from this year to technically Season 2, you wouldn't be getting those ground-breaking features. You're not going to see a GM connected. You're not going to see huge advances in the gameplay. But the idea is here to give the development cycle basically double the time. Currently, what is it, like 8 months? 10 months? Before the next year's game has to be basically gold, ready to go? In this idea, you're more or less doubling that and giving the developers time to take on more complex projects, things that they wouldn't be able to do year to year. Now that they have that extra time, that's maybe something that now can be possible. So again, this is just a very, very basic idea of what it could look like. Let me take it to the next step. And a perfect way you could market this is have Season 1 be like a Matthew Tkachuk and Season 2 be a Brady Tkachuk. You honestly could have done this year with the Hughes brothers. Obviously, there's 3 of them, but, I don't think you want to take a 3-year break in the cycle. But if you wanted to have, like, NHL 26, for example, be Matthew Tkachuk, and then Season 2, the following year, be Brady, and then NHL 27 comes out with a ton of new additions, and really just the rebuild and revamp the series is desperately needed for years upon years now. And I don't think it is enough just to do those small, improvements on that off year. I think you have to kind of get creative, especially with the online modes. The offline stuff, it's tough. You're not going to really be able to do anything on those off years. But when it comes to a Hockey Ultimate Team, when it comes to a World of Chell, I think a little bit more creativity is needed for different events, for different promotions, whatever you want to do. And I don't have all the ideas right now, but I think you can't just take the same strategy that you take year to year, especially with these online modes. Have some special stuff for Season 1 and Season 2. Stuff that's not going to take you much time really maybe to work on, but something that's going to make it feel unique and make players want to come and check out the game continually and not just play it for 1 year and not play it for a whole other year, you know. So I think something is needed there. When it comes to the offline modes, it does kind of suck, but if it means getting, you know, real drastic improvement in that, you know, real next release, I'm okay with not really having anything added for that 1 year. As long as we can get the bugs and the glitches fixed that are currently holding down like a franchise mode, I would be okay with that. Currently, it's just, yeah, I don't think a lot of people want to play it just because a lot of those issues, even though they added so many nice, new, cool features, it feels like it was kind of rushed a little bit. In this idea, having that extra time to work on stuff and get it in properly, maybe we can avoid some of those issues in the future. At the start of the video, I was talking about other sport game franchises, whether it be NFL, MLB, NBA, all these games are on the same 1 year time frame. You know a game that isn't? PGA 2K, which is very interesting. They release games bi-yearly, and I think it's worked out very well for them as a company. They started in 21, then released in 23, and then released in 25. And from someone, you know, kind of more on the outside of that community, I always hear very good things about these games. I play them every now and then, and I have a lot of fun with them. But apparently they do really benefit from having that extra time to really work on and perfect these games. Outside of that, what other game franchises took a year off and it benefited them? How about the WWE 2K series? I'm a huge fan of those games. Does anyone remember what happened in 2K20? You guys think NHL's in a bad spot? Take a look at how this game launched. Following that disastrous release, they were able to take a year off, don't put a game out in 21, and they came back better than ever in 22, and is one of my favorite games they've released to this point. So it just kind of adds to the point. Maybe it's better that we go to a bi-yearly cycle. I think there's still ways where you can capitalize on the hype, the excitement of a new NHL season when the time comes on that off year, in a way where really it kind of can make the consumer feel like they're not even missing not having a new game to play. I think there's ways you can do that and have it be successful. It's just having to get creative, come up with new ideas, new ways to do things, and then in the back end, get to work and start working on those bigger features and, you know, start rebuilding some things that may be a little bit more broken. I don't know. It's just something that I've wanted to see. It sucks. NHL 25, I thought it was going to be a huge year for the series. I thought it was going to be amazing. And like it turns out, offline play, this is the least I've ever played an NHL game. I work on the rosters and I do a lot of that stuff for you guys, for the community and everything, but playing the game myself, it's definitely been at an all-time low, and that sucks to see. And I want to see this game series in the best state possible, just like all of you guys. So I don't know, maybe it's an idea. I doubt if ever they would ever even consider this, and I said that multiple times now, but yeah, I don't know. I think it might be a good direction, a good idea to maybe look into for the future. But I am very curious here. What do you guys have to say on this idea? I know I'm not the first one once again to come up with this idea, but I would be interested to see what you all think. But that is going to do it for today's video. I will see you all in the next one.